G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. As you can maybe see in front of me, I have some seedlings I want to deal with today. It's getting into, obviously it's winter in Melbourne, and I think it's sometimes a good time to get started on seedlings and separating them out and doing something with them. These are probably 2-year-old now. I piled them into a pot and I just left them there for a season, and they did a decent amount of growth. There's lots of weeds, lots of leaves. But let's clean them up and see what we can do. Now I might do a couple of separate videos on different things to do with seedlings. So this first video I'm going to combine multiple seedlings and twist them and combine them and try and get them to fuse together. And I'll show you an example I did last year of one where I did that. Now I'm letting it grow again this year. So you fuse a handful, 3, 5 maybe together, hold them together, wire them together, bend them together, and you create an interesting little tree that will fuse together over time. I think you need to give it 2 to 3 years to really fuse together, but you've got to start somewhere. So that's the first video I'm going to do, and that's what will be today. And then I'll show you some other ones where you can deal with seedlings in different ways. Most likely you've seen the video I've done before last year, yeah, about the same time of year, where I just did multiple seedlings in a clump style and how I do about that. But yeah, I want to take you through the way I do. I'm going to do probably quite a few of these today, the actual fusing together. Now if I find a nice seedling that has good roots and long roots, I might put one over a rock. I just want something a bit stronger growing and have long roots, so I'll do another video if I find one on a nice one with roots. So there could be a few videos coming up. But today I'm just going to try and get through all this and see what I can pull out in terms of these seedlings. Let me just do a bit of cleanup work, and then I'll show you some of the seedlings that we're going to deal with. So yeah, pretty much just I'm going to take all these out of the pot. There's probably, I don't know how many, could be 100 or so seedlings in this group, easily probably, but that different sizes, different lengths. So we're just going to see what we can come up with, and we'll go through the process of what we find. I'll do the boring work now without you guys having to watch, but then we'll have a look at the seedlings themselves and see what we can do with them. As you see, I still love growing from seed, especially Trident maples, because they're very easy to grow from seed. Japanese maples is another one, but I try and focus on Trident maples. And yeah, let's see how we progress today. It's all a bit of a surprise. I like doing these because you never know what you get and never know what you can combine. I have an idea. So the first idea, let's fuse some trunks together and wire them up and see what that we can produce. Okay, so let me clean this up and I'll be back with you. Alright, so just did a bit of quick cleanup, took it out of the pot, and just trying to have a look what there is. So the next thing I'll do is I'll try and group certain sizes together, because I want to do the fuse together trunks. I want to get ones that are actually close together. I find that that's easier, or I prefer to do it like that way. I'm going to look for the nice big strong ones and separate them out because they could be used for root over rock. So let's. I'm just going to go through and see what we can find. I did accidentally pull out three about the same size. They're a bit small, so I'm probably going to fuse a few more to that size. So they're very thin, these little ones, but it's a start. So just to show you that this is the plan. Get a few, I'm going to fuse them together, I'm going to wire them, but we'll see what else we can find. There's lots in here, so it's a matter of just going through it. So let's just, and they should fall away because the mix I use is quite open. So just doing that, and I've already pulled the whole clump out. Like they're all pretty much all clumped together, these guys. But they're not the same size, so let's try, and that's a decent, nice size one, so we'll keep that, we'll separate that into another section. So all I'm going to do is go through and try and find very similar size shapes, similar size trunks, and group them together. And that's what I'll do now, is I'll pull them apart and just try it. So that's probably a medium compared to some of these big ones. These are quite small, so you never know, maybe I'm not even sure what I'll do with these little ones. Maybe I'll just keep growing them on as separate, but we'll just keep them in a pot or something, but we'll work out something to do. But let's group them together, and I'll show you what the result of grouping them together is in a minute. Alright, so had pretty good luck. Separated into 5 groups. So I'll show you the groups that I've separated them into. This is the too small to do much with. Let's just grow them on. They're just way too small, very short, very thin. Still got a few leaves on them even. there's not much I can do other than just plant them back in a tray or something like that, what you saw in a pot, and just let them grow on and see what happens. Spread them out, then give them a good chance to just grow on and be strong. No point putting one per pot, it's just a waste of space. Just put them all in, see what happens, let them grow again. So that's one group. The next group is just a slightly bit bigger than that. Now this is a interesting group. I'm not sure what I'm going to do 100% with these guys. Will I try and group them together? Could I just put them back in a pot? Most likely I'll just put them in a pot like the other ones as well. But at least I've divided them up. So they're really small. These are the medium ones. I really can't do much with them. Maybe I'll confuse a few together and create a smaller one, possibly. So I'll just leave them aside. Okay, third group is slightly more advanced. Now this is a nice size group to actually bend and twist, and they're quite flexible still. So definitely one that I could put probably, I think, 5 seedlings together, and sort of a little one there. I've got to pull him out. 5 seedlings together and then fuse them together. So this is one group I'll be using in the fusing together stage. So I'll do this one as a fuse together. That's a good one. This is another. There's another one, so a bit more advanced now. Starting to get into good sizes. Now this is probably a 3 group, 3 fused trunks together. I'm going to see how that comes out. So this is the next size up. This is the 4th grouping. So that's a lot there. There's quite a bit. I didn't even count, but there's a lot there. And then the 5th group, which I'm going to probably leave alone, is much more advanced group. Now this group is either look for ones good root on the rock, look for them, just keep growing them on individually, so they can make strong trees or bigger trees, single trees. Or I can do the other experiment, which I'll show you in another video, is where I put 3 or 5 trunks of these together and grow them on and see which ones grow really well, and have like a 3 trunk or a 5 trunk clump style. So that's what this will be used. So I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to put the 2 smaller ones aside for now. So all those 3 I'm going to put aside, and I'm going to try and do fused trunks with this grouping and this grouping. So we'll have a look and we'll experiment and try a few things. And let me get my stuff all together and we'll get ready and do that. Okay. In the meantime, I just let these trees. I just put them back in some soil as a clump, just so they don't dry out, and leave them at that for now until I work on the next phase of the trees. But I'm going to focus on getting some fused together trunks. I'm not going to do all of them fused together, so but I like to use all these. I think maybe some of these can be clumps as well. I think let's give it a go and see what comes out. There's lots of seedlings, you can see. I've also got maybe 3 or 4 more of those pots together, like those big pots that I separate out like this as well. So I've got lots of seedlings to work with. Always good to have lots of seedlings. I think it's fun. It's actually a lot of fun to grow trees and watch them style the way you want to grow them. And it's not a huge, it doesn't take long. Just leave them as a little project on the side whilst you do all your other trees. But all right, I'm going to cut back and I'll show you what I'm going to come up with. Alright, so just clean the area up. Now, I've just got some usually offcuts of wire, aluminium. I'm just going to use things that are just nothing really special. So I'm just going to pick 3 of the slightly larger ones. So you can see they're kind of the same in terms of, look at that, almost bend almost the same way, and the roots are about the same. So I just try and line them up so they're really hugging each other, like a triangle, like inserted like a triangle. Like, look at that. So that's pretty cool. Like, they're really nice and tight. And I try and make sure at least that's straight, and then I'm going to start wiring. So I just grab a piece of wire. Don't have to be anything special, just as long as you can get it to hold together. And just start to wire, at least get the base intertwined. So now remember, this is very early stage on the maples, so the only seedlings. So even if there is a bit of wire marks, it'll grow out pretty quickly. So try and make sure that you're nicely fused together. I'm just making sure as I wire up, making sure they're kind of really nice and tightly together, because I don't want to have a gap. If you keep a gap, then they're not going to really fuse. The Nabari we're not worried about right now, because eventually I'll put it on a once it's a single tree, I'll probably put it on a tile and make the roots go out sideways more. But at the moment, let's get some seedlings happening. So that's the main trunk. It's white. I'm not really fussed about this. Let this grow, and that's all that matters. But this is where it's really important. Now it's good to fuse them, but let's now that we've got them at the early stage, let's actually maybe put some movement into it. Not too much. I just like to do a bit of subtle movements because I don't want to break them, even though they're quite flexible. There you go. So you can see I've just created something a bit more interesting, and let's just hope they fuse together. I'll show you one that I did last year and it's slowly fusing together, but it probably needs another year. So look at that. That's one way. So I'm just going to put it in a normal plastic pot with some nice remixed soil. The soil that I just use, like repotted soil, I sift it and clean it, and then I reuse it. The soil from my bonsai before, from last year, or from my repotting season, I should say. So I just use that stuff again. Nothing really special. I'm just going to feed these guys pretty heavily in the growing season. So simple, pretty simple. Nice, interesting, twist it up. Make sure it's secure. And that's one. I'm going to try maybe doing a bit more, probably have a few more trees in another experiment. I'll do one more. So I've got that one, that's one done. Now the other smaller ones, I'll put 5. I'm trying to do 5 together. I'm going to see how this comes up. So I've got 5 that are reasonably close together in size. Again, this is a bit easier because they're a bit smaller, so I can actually really intertwine them pretty nice and tight. So just get some wire. Don't need anything too big. Always good to reuse stuff, I think. So again, make sure it's nice and tight. Different ways to do this, but I just try and use both hands, make sure I feel the trunks to make sure there's no real air pockets or air in between the trunks as I wire, there's no gaps. If you guys can see that pretty clear. So there you go, nice and tight and very close. So that is very easy to bend this. So because these are a bit younger. So I don't just do side to side, I try and do backwards, forwards, and just whatever happens. We'll see, hopefully they come up together. Maybe nice informal upright one day. But there you go, another one done. Again, I'm going to try and feed a lot this year. I didn't feed as much as I needed to last year, I think. So I didn't have as much growth as I wanted. So there's 2 done. One's a 3 trunk, one's 5 trunk, this is the smaller seedlings that I had, and these are the little larger ones. I'm just going to go through and try and combine stuff now. That's all I'm going to do. That's the same process over and over again. So I'm just going to do the same thing, and I'll show you how many I create with this. I'm going to probably use all of these, I reckon. I'm interested to maybe these ones. Yeah, maybe I'll do them all. I'll probably do them all because I've got lots to do with. I'm going to fuse all of them. But I'm going to try with this one. I'm going to try a 5 one, and I'm going to try 7 with this. And then I can come back and show you, okay? So hopefully I'll get this done in about 10, 20 minutes, and I'll show you the result. Alright, so I was able to finish up pretty quickly, maybe 20 minutes to go more. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, about 15 newly created trees. Now what I actually did also, which I didn't show you, was I decided to not take the little tiny ones, but the next one's up, and I just grabbed the whole bunch of them and just fused them together. It's a bit of an experiment. I'm going to see if it works. So there's probably 20 of them in there, or 15 or 20 little seedlings of the medium, that second size up. I just fused them together. I go, give it a go, give it an experiment, give it a shot, and see what happens over the growing season. See if that works. You can see they're pretty tight. It creates about a pencil-sized thickness trunk when fused. So the other ones were, I did do 5 of the medium, the larger size, 5 of those, and I did 7. I did 7 of the slightly smaller ones. So there you go. So that whole bunch of seedlings, without taking the big ones into account, well, I've left them on the side. I'll do something with them later. But it's nice. It's much more manageable now. 15 of them. Also did some straight ones, just purely straight. Didn't bend them at all, just to create, maybe a broom style, Trident maple or more natural, rather than bend them and twist them up. Some are bent and twisted. We'll see how they came out. But yeah, how's that? So this is my experiment of trying to fuse seedlings together to create a bonsai. So if you got seedlings and you're just starting out and you enjoy growing from seed, which I do, play around with some ideas, experiment with them. So this is just one way, fusing trunks together. Now I was going to show you the one I did last year. I'll be back in a sec. So here's the one I did last year. Well, it's a bit hard to show you, but you can see the trunks. Probably there's about 4 in there actually, only 4, but you can see there's wire on it, and it's been twisted up, and it's actually growing reasonably well. There's a few wire marks, which is fine, but I'm hoping this season actually really grows strongly and fuses together well. So anyway, I just want to finish off. So there you go, fusing together trunks, fusing together seedlings to create a trunk, to create a single trunk. So let's see in a year how that all goes. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for some more work on seedlings and how we create bonsai from seedlings. See you soon.